Hi everyone, welcome back to my craft room. If you're new to my craft room, then welcome. Today I want to make a little sign, fall sign here using one of these Dollar Tree bamboo cutting boards. These are one of the older ones. The newer ones now are a little bit bigger than this, which I wish I would have had another one of those, but I did buy one, but I'm using it in my kitchen. So I'm going to pick up a couple more of these because these are a lot of fun to do things with. But anyway, I took that one and I painted it. I'm trying to get a little head here because they're still working on our road out here. And it has been so loud today, but it's kind of quiet right this second. So I'm going to try to get something done. So I painted this, 2 coats of the home decor chalk paint in the sheepskin color. I thought that would be great. I gave it 2 coats, let it dry good. And I want to use this stencil here. Oh, it needs something. Oh, you can see it better on this one. Well, it says today's vibe. I'm not using that part, but I am going to use the pumpkin spice and the pumpkins and all that cute little stuff, but it's hard to see when I put it on the white. And then I just got a whole bunch of different little paints here I want to use, and I don't know if I'm going to do anything else with it afterwards, but yeah, I want to give this a try. And since I'm still hobbling around here with this air cast on, and I can't get down in my basement to get to any of my Christmas decor or anything right now. Hopefully this thing's coming off sometime this week. But we're going to use this stencil. I got this stencil from Temu a while back. It came in a pack of a whole bunch. They have so many if you want to check those out. But I'm going to flip this over so I have the back side here. I'm going to use a little bit of this pixie spray. This will actually stick it to this board to keep it down while we're, trying to get our paint and stuff on there. But you just want to give this a really light coat. Let me get all my stuff out of the way. There we go. I think I have this shaken up enough here. But you just want to go over it with a nice light coat, just like so. And then we're going to set this aside for a minute. I think I missed that part right there. Okay. It says to hold it about 12 inches away. I believe I got this from Walmart. I'm pretty sure I ordered it through Walmart. But yeah, you spray just a light coat on there, and then you just set it aside for a minute and let that set up. And then when you're done with this, that just washes off with some soap and water, and you can use these over and over and over again. But I got a whole bunch of paints here. I got a whole bunch of my little stencil brushes here in all different sizes. Some of these I got from Temu. Some of these I got from Dollar Tree. You can get these pretty much anywhere, any craft store or whatever. I have a whole bunch of different paints here. I got these upside down because they're almost empty, but this is the Craft Smart Chalky Paint, it's called, and this is the burnt orange. I love this color. I got that from Michael's. And then I just have some I have all kinds here. Apple Barrel, this is a matte brown. This is a chalk paint too. It's almost empty. The Spanish Moss. So I got all my stuff upside down. And that's the sheepskin that I used to paint the board. And then I have some gray here I'm going to use for the steam and stuff on that little cup. I have some black. I got all kinds of paints here. So we'll figure that as we go. So now we're going to take our board here. I think I've yacked for a minute. And then we're just going to place this on here where we want it. And you can reposition this too. You don't have to worry that it's going to stick, real fast here or anything. But this just barely fits on here. Let's see. I think I want it down a little bit. I think that's pretty good right there. That looks pretty even. All right. So now, see, it's just a little stick. It doesn't stick real, like crazy. It's not like you taped it down or anything. But it will. I didn't get that side too good, but we'll just have to be careful. All right. So now I'm going to get some of my paints here. I think I'll start with the burnt orange here and get some of that in my dish. I also have some paper towels here because I like to take the majority of the paint off that I'm stenciling with. And then we are just going to get some of that on there, tap it a little bit so it's not too mushy, and I'm just going to start tapping this in here. I love doing it. I couldn't tell you the last time I did stencils, and now, I figure I'll get some of this stuff out that I haven't worked with in quite a while. And, since it's really kind of hard for me to get around right now, I figure it's the perfect time to use some of my stencils here. So I'm just going to tap this in here. I may go over it again. I don't know. We'll see how it looks. I can peel it up a little bit and check it out, see if it's enough or if I want to do 2 coats. But I think one is probably going to be fine since we're just kind of tapping it on here. But I'll do some of this off camera because this is going to take me a little bit here to get all these in all these little, because this is quite intricate, this lettering. It has some really fine lines I got to get into and all that, and try not to get it on my other things that I got here. So I'll just get this first one up here done, and then I'll do the spice off camera here to save a little bit of time, because, you know, I'm sure it gets boring watching me do this over and over and over and over. I'm sure it does. But these are going to be cute. I haven't used any of these stencils yet from Temu. I've had them, I don't know, these are the ones I got this year or last year. I can't remember. I get so many nice things from Temu to craft with. Alright, we almost got this one done here. Alright, so I'm going to finish this up because this is going to get boring watching me do this. But that's all I'm going to do is tap in these letters, and I'll come back when I start my next color. Alright, I took a little bit of the Spanish moss now and mixed it in, just a, I don't know, a few drops, in with some of this orange that I'm going to add to, oh, what am I dinging about? Sorry. I don't know. Nothing. It's just these trucks out there making my doorbell go off. But anyway, I mixed that in with some of the orange here, and I'm just going to add a little bit of that with a regular brush here just to kind of give these pumpkins just a little dimension here. I'll hold this up here and I'll show you what I'm doing here in a second so you can kind of get a better idea. And it'll make more sense once I take this stencil off. You'll be able to see it a little bit better. Alright, so, right there, I just added a little, what is dinging? You know what, I'm going to take my watch off here in a minute because I'm just going to constantly get notifications while they're out here working on this road. It's driving me nuts. Alright, and it's driving my dogs nuts because now they're barking. Yay. Alright, so that's what I did for the pumpkins. Now for the leaves, I am just going to take, I'm going to wipe this brush off here and use that. I'm just using a regular brush for these little teeny weeny leaves that are in here because, you know, you need something small so you're not getting it where you don't want it. So I'm going to use that for the leaves. I'm going to use that for this little bitty stem here. You can see that right here. I like this moss green color. It's such a pretty color. I'm going to try not to get it on anything else. My hands are kind of steady today, so that's a good thing. Not always the case. Alright, there's our stem and our leaf on that one. And then I'm going to go down on this one here. Yeah, it has been so loud out here today. I really wanted to get this. Actually, it'll be probably tomorrow. It'll be Tuesday by the time I get this up. Because I really wanted it done on Monday, but these people want to drive me nuts out here. And my animals. Alright, so those are the stems, and now these will be a little bit easier, a little bit bigger. So we're just going to paint these in too with this brush. I mean, if you have a tiny stencil brush that you could use, I don't have one that's, you know, really small. I don't know where my husband's at right now because he's usually out there with the dogs, but they're barking at something or someone out there. I had to close my front window because there's just constantly people walking up and down the street while they're doing this road work out here, and she drives me nuts because she wants to bark at everybody. She's a Chihuahua, but she thinks she's like a German Shepherd. Fearless little dogs they are. Alright, let's get that done here. And you guys, if you don't want to watch this, you can just fast forward this. While I get these little leaves painted in. We're almost done here. Oops, I see one more leaf. Hoping I'm getting these good. It's kind of hard to see once you put this stencil on the white. But, I mean, it would have been great if I was doing it just all one color. I could have just sprayed it on here real quick. But I wanted to do these different. Okay, there's our leaves and our pumpkins. Oops, I missed a stem. Hoi. What is that on there? I don't know. There we go. Get in there. Alright, now I think I got them. So now all I have to do is our coffee cup. Same thing, I'm going to use a little brush from Dollar Tree. I'm going to use some gray for like there's the steam coming out of the coffee cup here, or tea, or whatever it is. It could probably be pumpkin spice tea or something. I figured gray would work good for the steam. Just a little tiny brush because they're very thin lines. There we go, and that's it for that. And then we move on to the brown. I might be able to use a regular stencil brush for that because it's not real close to anything. So let's get some of our brown here and do that coffee cup or teacup or whatever you have it in there. I think that top one I'm going to use a smaller brush on. Yeah, I should have used a smaller brush. We'll get it. Hopefully I don't have to do touch-ups. I hate having to go back and do touch-ups because I went outside the lines, but you know, gotta do what we gotta do here. Alright, I think that'll be good for that cup. Let me grab a small brush for this one little spot up here. It's gonna be hard to get to without getting the brown on my gray. These are just fun to do. You could do something like this with the kids and stuff too for a little project to stencil. Oops, I got too much paint in there. Don't go under. Alright, I need my brush here. Just go over that lightly. Yeah, I don't care for that paint too much. That Apple Barrel Matte, it's called, nutmeg color. But it's fine for the cup. It'll have like a little design if it doesn't cover perfectly. Alright, now for the coffee pot or teapot, whatever you prefer, we're going to use some black. I'm going to get most of this with a regular stencil brush here. Let me get rid of that. Tap that off a little bit. And this is nice and big. So this will go quickly. I like the chalk paint. It just has so much better coverage than acrylic. And if you want it to have, you know, not such a matte finish, you can always, you know, spray coat it or something when you're done, or put some Mod Podge over it to give it a little shine. But I don't mind the matte finish on these things. Alright, let me get my smaller brush here. I've got a million brushes to wash. That's okay. We don't mind. Come on, get in there. Tappy, tappy, tappy. I think we we got it, guys. I think we're done. And you could add some dimension to the leaves too if you wanted to, or the pumpkin spice saying, or whatever. But I think I'm going to let it go with that and see how this turned out with this new stencil here. Very excited. That's the fun part, is just peeling this thing off now. And voila. Love it. Yay. That turned out really cute. And I got to set this somewhere and not make a mess. I love this. Look how pretty. Isn't that nice? I'm just going to set this out in my kitchen for fall. Now you could add a border around it if you wanted to, with maybe some jute string. I did get a tiny bit of orange where it's not supposed to, but I'll touch, or maybe it's supposed to and I didn't get enough. No, there is a little line there, but that's fine. But look how pretty. I love this. You could add some more highlights to your coffee pot or whatever, but I think this will make a cute addition in my kitchen for the fall. So you could hang it if you wanted. You could drill holes in the top here, hang it with some wire, some jute string or whatever, or put a little hook on the back. I didn't paint the back because it's going to be sitting up on a shelf. But that was my little project. I just wanted to show you guys how cool it is to use these stencils that I picked up from Temu, and I have so many. I have a lot of really pretty Christmas ones I want to try out. But thanks so much for watching, everybody. I hope you enjoyed this little project, and I'll see you guys all next time. Have a great day, everyone.